the British boxing legend, who stopped by our set on Thursday afternoon to break down all things Mayweather-McGregor, and did so with a flair, with an elegance, with class, with dignity, with intelligence that we have never seen as far as any kind of breakdown is concerned. And it was very important for me to have him back on the program on the Monday after to hear what he thought of it all. So it is a huge honor once again to reconnect with the one and only Chris Eubank, who joins us on the phone. Chris, are you there?
I am excellent. Thank you. And yes, I am here.
What a pleasure this is. Thank you so much for coming back on. First of all, how about the reaction that you received reciting Invictus and Rudyard Kipling and Theo Roosevelt? That was pretty fun, right? I told you people would receive it well. Did you feel that as well?
Oh, absolutely. It's been astonishing. It really has. I mean, I suppose in Britain, this is the norm. And so I guess people appreciate it, but it's nothing they don't know of me already. And I've been doing that for the last, I suppose, 27 years. And so it was surprising to actually get such an influx of, I suppose, goodwill in regards to what I suppose is fairness. You know, what we don't do as warriors, we do not condemn anything. Everything there is a positive. Everything has a silver lining. Everything can be slightly moved to the side, and you can see it from a different angle. So there are positives in everything.
Wonderfully said, once again. Now, I'm dying to ask you, what did you think of the fight? The performance by Conor, the victory by Floyd, the early rounds, the later rounds. I want to hear it all. What did you think of it overall?
Well, I mean, okay, so here you have it. It's all positive for these reasons. It's positive because it engaged the globe in terms of the martial arts. Boxing and MMA have evolved as a result of the fight. The tactics used in the fight, in the future, this will be looked upon by MMA fighters if they should contend against boxers. And they will have to better the game. No two ways about that. And then that also proves the fact that we are evolving as fighters. I'm more looking to look at the positivity of the fact that Conor was in this fight our Rocky. We imagined that he would step up to the plate as he did and fight the best possible, with the best possible tactics to have a competitive fight. It turned out that it went the boxer's way. The fight, however you view the fight, I'd more like to actually concentrate on the fact that he stepped up to the plate. The tactics, as I had said before, if he boxes him, it's not going to be that much of a contest. If he fought him, and I'm looking to tell you as follows. For your viewers, if you watch again Eubank versus Collins 2, you'll see the blueprint. He's retired now, so the blueprint was never used. And no one knows of a blueprint to beat Mayweather. So I think the closest anyone ever see to that blueprint is that particular fight. Eubank versus Collins 2. As I said, he would have to be an absolute madman. He would have to act like he needs to be sectioned to actually beat Mayweather. He used another method, but for the future, I suppose it can be seen. If an MMA fighter wants to beat a boxer, you have to watch that particular fight, or watch Rocky. Rocky won. That's how it's done.
Do you think, Chris, that he went out there and represented? Did he put out the game plan that you thought he should? I mean, it wasn't quite Madman-esque, But for him to win those first few rounds, do you feel like he did as well as he possibly could?
Well, using the tactics he did as well as he could have done, using the tactics he used. When you are an experienced boxer, you know that over a period of rounds, you drain the fighter, you drain your opponent, because you understand pace, you understand 12 rounds, you understand that you're never the fighter that you are in the first, that you are in the fifth, or that you are in the 10th. So, this was loaded in Mayweather's favor from the start, because it's a timeline and a pacing which suits his art, his craft, and what he has been doing for all those 21 years, being at the top. So we pile props. We give Conor props, and we admire the fact that he stepped into the lion's den. Look, I mean, it could be said, okay, would you step into the octagon? Because if Mayweather stepped into the octagon, effectively what would happen is Floyd did to Conor, Conor would do to Floyd in an octagon. Do you see? Yeah.
Probably would last shorter, right?
Yeah. I mean, all Conor wants to do is take him down to the ground, and then he would be rendered useless, because that's not his skill set. And, Conor had however many months to prepare for a professional boxing match. Floyd would need 7 years.
Yeah.
Of 5 years of grappling, of jiu-jitsu, of judo, of Muay Thai. I mean, it's a different martial art. So, what we admire is the fact that he actually stepped up to the plate and went into, the lion's den. And Mayweather is the king of the lions.
Am I crazy for thinking, Chris, that you thought that he could actually do better, that Conor could actually do better in the fight?
No, you're not crazy at all for thinking that. I mean, I said as much in the interview. You would have to go to the Eubank Collins 2 fight to see the blueprint.
Yeah.
Without fighting Mayweather, like, I'm talking about someone who is insane. You have to watch this Collins Eubank 2 fight.
Yeah.
Then he comes at me like an absolute maniac. And he does it for 12 rounds. All you have to do is watch one round of this particular fight. I mean, it's really something to see. And that's the only blueprint, as I said, it's the only blueprint I've ever seen of how you beat a man who is superior in boxing skills if you're not. Collins wasn't.
Right. How many rounds did you give Conor?
Okay, so all right, so let's say the first 3, but you see, for Floyd Mayweather, what he was doing is feeling him out. Yeah. You see, so after 2-3 rounds, you understand exactly. I mean, I'm talking about precisely what your opponent is capable of. So the 3 rounds or 4 rounds, if you are going to give them to McGregor, then the point of fact is that was the time in which Mayweather was feeling him out. And while you're feeling your opponent out, those minutes, those 16 minutes of feeling him out, that takes you're expending energy, which is it's important energy. And once you don't have that energy, then you start flailing and you start losing your composure.
Mm-hmm.
And once you start your composure, then you are open to shots. So again, from an overall view, if I were to look at it from an overall view, Conor McGregor is to be admired for stepping into the King Lion's den. And and the MMA world would give Mayweather the same credibility and the same love and respect if Mayweather stepped into the octagon.
Yeah. What did you think of the stoppage?
Well, that's what the referee is supposed to do.
Uh-huh.
He's supposed to stop the opponent who is getting damaged. He's supposed to stop them from taking further punishment. That's his job. And he did a magnificent job. Because, Rocky in the movies is fantastic to look at because the referees allow it to go on. But that's the movies. In real life, the head actually does not recover. The body can recover, but the head doesn't. And so, therefore, the referee did a fantastic job.
What about the rabbit punches that Floyd complained about? Do you feel like he was too lenient towards Conor?
Okay, so this is how I view the rabbit punches.
Okay.
The rabbit punches, if you look at, I wish I had the ability to be in front of you so I could show you about body weight.
So do I.
Body weight. Thank you. There was no body weight in the shots. In those rabbit punches, they were just arm punches. So it was more, the shots were more frustrated taps. They wouldn't have been hurtful. And if anything, no, I mean, they wouldn't have hurt Mayweather. They would have it looked ungainly. It looked a little novice-y. But there is no issue with those rabbit punches because there was no power behind them.
Uh-huh.
They were arm punches. He wasn't actually bringing his knuckles down and bringing his body down with those shots. And if he had been, then it would be illegal. Then it would have meant something. But there was no power in those shots. And remember, boxers can absorb and take a great deal of punishment because it's what they're doing every day in the gym.
Do you subscribe to the notion, Chris, that in essence everyone won on Saturday, that Conor wins, that Floyd wins, that the UFC wins, that the boxing world wins, that the NAC for sanctioning the fight win? It's really one of those rare moments in sports where everyone's a victor. Do you believe that?
I absolutely do. I absolutely do. There's no negative. The only person, in actual fact, the only person or persons who would be bruised is certainly Conor McGregor in terms of his code. He is a warrior. So he, no matter what, he will be bruised. His ego, his pride, his manhood will be bruised, and he will recover. In saying that, he still has conducted himself like a gentleman in defeat, which again is a triumph in itself. The nation of Ireland and all Irishmen and women will be still live in hope, let's say. The Irish always like anyone who can actually prop up who they are as a people. So they may be slightly bruised, but that's okay. It's okay because, he was fighting the Kasparov of boxing, as I said before. He was fighting, the lion, the king lion in the boxing world.
I'm happy that you're harping on that notion because I actually feel like that is a point that was missed leading up to the fight. In the hours leading up to the fight, you felt the spirit in the air in Las Vegas a hope from the Irish people. And let's be honest, as far as athletic achievements are concerned, they haven't had much to be hopeful about on the world stage. And this is a nation that, has been through a lot economically over the past decade. And you felt a sincere hope that he would represent them and would win and would shock the world and would knock them out. And that was the most beautiful part of all of this: the hope, the buildup, the innocence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And obviously the views that I had beforehand, it was more of I had that same hope. I want to see a competitive fight. I want to be entertained. And that hope, as fleeting as it may have been, now we're talking post-fight.
Yeah.
It was beautiful to enjoy, to wonder, to think, to dream that Conor McGregor could replicate the Rocky of 1978, whenever the first one came out. We lived in hope, and we continue to live in hope for what? Entertainment.
Chris, at this juncture, would you suggest to Conor to continue boxing? Do you see something in him as a boxer, or do you feel like he should go back to MMA?
You cannot become a boxer over a period of a year. It took me 7 years from day one to my first championship fight. It took 7 years. He's 29 years old. His skill set is the martial art of MMA, mixed martial arts. So for him to switch and become a boxer, I always teach to boxers, stick to one thing. Don't look at the movies. Don't look to be an actor as well. Don't look. If you're going to be a boxer, be a boxer. Don't be anything else. One thing. Put 100% of your efforts into the pursuit of excellence in the one thing. And he has mastered and done that in MMA. And he has made himself a wealthy man now through switching and going over to boxing. In the future, if he should want to actually compete again in the four-cornered circle, then so be it. But he will never be the master in boxing that he is in MMA, which is an obvious point. He has spent his entire fighting life in the mixed martial arts. That's where he is a master.
Who do you give credit to for the early rounds, Chris? Because some say that Floyd just carried him and let him win those rounds. Do you feel like that's unfair to Conor?
Well, I think I answered this question before. It's not so much that he carried him. Keep in mind, think of what. Now, forget about the physicality of the two combatants. Think about their spirits.
Uh-huh.
So beforehand, you had the spirits at play. You could see that Conor McGregor's spirit absolutely crushed Floyd Mayweather's spirit.
Huh.
He shouted him down. He antagonized his spirit. He pushed his spirit around. He out-shouted him. He out-dressed him. He out-thought him. He out... his energy was so vibrant, it was scary. It was scary. So he had dented the spirit of Floyd Mayweather. We saw it in the press conferences, even at the weigh-in, especially at the weigh-in, when he was shouting him down, you saw that the spirit within Mayweather was quiet because he couldn't compete with it. Okay, now that's usually half the battle. It's half the battle. But what he needed to do on top of that is actually run at him like a madman.
Right.
And that blueprint can be seen in, again, Eubank, Collins too. And when your viewers actually watch that, I think you'll get a groundswell of comments. I see now what you mean.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I watched it after we spoke, and I 100% see what you mean. I'd be remiss if I don't ask you this last thing before I let you go, Chris. And again, thank you so much for stopping by. It has been such a pleasure getting to know you a little bit over the last couple of days. You recited some wonderful poems leading up to the fight, and I'm wondering if the performance on Saturday brings to mind anything else that you can share with us, any other poetic pieces, anything else come to mind as far as what transpired?
Yes, I've been thinking, to leave you with something, but I couldn't find anything in my head.
Oh, okay.
But as I'm speaking to you, in actual fact, yes, I have a beautiful piece.
Okay.
That I will recite. I committed it to memory, and it goes as follows. Go placidly amid the noise and the haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth clearly and quietly, and listen to others, even the dull and the ignorant, for they too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons, for they are vexatious to your spirit. If you compare yourself to others, you may become vain and bitter, for always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career, however humble it may be. It is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons you see strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself, especially do not feign affection, neither be cynical about love. For in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune, but do not distress yourself with imaginings. Many fears you see are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. After all, you are a child of the universe no less than the trees and the stars. You do have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive him to be, and whatever your labors and aspirations in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace with your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be careful and strive to be happy.
Wow. I feel like I need to do this afterwards. Wow. Who wrote that?
It's called Desiderata. It was found in a churchyard in 1692. Author unknown.
Unbelievable. That summed it up. I felt it. I saw the fight playing out in my mind as you were saying that. That was it. You nailed it, Chris.
What I'd like to point out is that my son, Joseph, was actually filming this, and so just in case any of your viewers may think I was reading from a piece of paper, I'm going to get him to upload it so that the viewers can see that it was recited from memory.
I had no doubt, just for the record. I had no doubt. You are a real treasure, my friend. Wow, what a pleasure it has been. And I hope that we can continue to have you on the program and to get your insight, because the way that you are able to look at both sports and just be unbiased, and your opinions and your knowledge, and of course your intelligence, is just second to none. I've never met anything or come across anything like it. So kudos to you, Chris, for becoming one of the stars of the week. And thank you so much once again for stopping by. It was a real honor to have you on the program.
In London, we say triple AP. Always an absolute pleasure, sir.
Cheers, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
Wow.
Bye.
Holy smokes, Chris Eubank. Wow. I will never be as smart as that man. That was amazing. Okay.